My night was saved by a worker at a McDonald's drive-thru. After a rough few weeks with my mental health, I was really looking forward to a good night out tonight. Instead of my usual low-effort look, I treated myself to a haircut and a bouncy blow-dry that made my hair look great. I got my makeup done, bought a new outfit, and basically felt really confident that I was looking my best. I felt really good. I get there, and things start going downhill. One of the friends I'd arranged to meet there was nowhere to be seen. They'd been messaging me for ages trying to get me out, made a big deal about wanting to catch up, and it was 2 hours before they turned up. Before that, at one point I found myself separated from my friends and spent 20 minutes walking around on my own looking for them. Note that this wasn't a particularly busy place, so easy to spot people, and it turns out quite a few people had noticed me looking lost, as I discovered later when they bumped into me and commented on it. Friend finally turns up. We'd made a plan beforehand that once they'd arrived we'd spend some time catching up, just the two of us, pretty much straight away. But now that they were here, they kept disappearing. Then when I found them, they just wanted to chat to this other person first. So I joined the group conversation and all was fine. Then they nipped off to get a drink with this other person, and told me to wait there. 10 minutes later I see the other person return, but not my friend. I waited a while longer, but then I'd had enough. I'd felt pretty much invisible all night. No one had paid much attention to me, and this one friend who'd made such a big deal about seeing me just disappeared on me. I wasn't in the mood anymore, and I just gave up and left. I was feeling pretty sorry for myself, trying not to cry as I was driving home because I'd ruined that gorgeous makeup I'd had done, even though I'm taking it off the moment I get home anyway. Decided to go via McDonald's to cheer myself up. I was sad, I was hungry, and I'd had enough of people, so the last thing I wanted to do was engage in conversation with the guy at the window, who, frankly, I thought seemed rather odd. But politeness prevailed, and we talked about how we liked to tweak our McFlurry orders. Collection time comes, and he hands me an everything McFlurry. All the toppings, the sauce we'd agreed was best, literally a pile of chocolatey goodness on ice cream. Totally unexpected, I'd originally ordered a standard McFlurry, but from our conversation, he'd decided to treat me. It was brilliant. I'd gone from excited, feeling good about myself and looking forward to a night out, to invisible, let down and miserable, and now this stranger has just done something really small but really nice for me for no real reason. And I wanted to cry again, because it was so lovely, and it genuinely just made my night. I felt ignored all evening, but McDonald's man saw me, and saved me from a night crying into my pillow. Post someone else's personal information online? Get fired from your law firm. I'm a college student. I was heading between classes early this week and got a call from my state's unemployment office asking me to finish my claim. I didn't file a claim. It turns out the claim was for someone else, so I took the name down and ended the call. I live in one of the larger cities in my state, and we have a community Facebook group where we share questions about events, hours for businesses, and general memes and jokes about nonsense that happens in our city. I decided to post an inquiry asking if anyone knew someone by that name who had applied for unemployment. I wanted them to get their claim finished so they could get paid as soon as possible, and with only their name, which was a really common name, Facebook search and the yellow pages did nothing for me. Enter Karen. Karen comments relatively quickly on my post, bragging that at her job she has access to tons of people's personal information, and she pasted some guy's information in the comments. She ended her comment by bragging about being able to use their system outside of work and on personal time for personal reasons, and that she hadn't been caught. She posted this on a public Facebook group. Right away people replied to her and said she shouldn't be bragging about essentially misusing their system for personal use, and that information security breaches could be a huge problem if she does it on her home network. As someone with an IT background, I sprang into action. Cue petty revenge. I screenshotted everything she said and my original post for safekeeping. I then looked up her name on LinkedIn. Turns out, she works for the most powerful law firm in my city as an office manager. The American Bar Association has very strict rules regarding safeguarding client information. The entire firm could use its license to practice law if anyone in their office misuses their access to client information or shares client information publicly. I gathered all my information and screenshots, and even a screenshot from the Bar Association website, and sent it through the contact form on their website. I also sent the same information to the head counsel and the president of the law firm. Not 10 minutes later, I get a Facebook message from Karen with a screenshot of my contact form, saying "nice try." She then blocked me on Facebook. But then, the next day, I get a message from a legal assistant at the law firm. She is very concerned and wants to find out what happened. I explain everything and that she was bragging about this publicly. She thanked me for my time and said that an internal investigation would happen immediately and that they handle any information security complaints like this very seriously. I never got an update from the law firm and it's been about 5 days, but when I went to Google Karen's LinkedIn page again, it was gone. I think it's safe to say that Karen will no longer be using her access to client information for personal use anymore. To the random guy who needed to finish his unemployment claim, I hope you got paid. You are not supposed to park there. A recent post reminded me of our petty revenge back in the early 90s. A friend had just purchased a house and was moving out of the 20-story apartment building he lived in. He rented a box truck and then offered beer and pizza to all his friends to come help. The building he was in was isolated and on the side of a hill, Pittsburgh, so no end of hills. The front was facing downhill and the back was against the hill. There was an 18 feet wide drive along one half the back of the building, ending at the center of the building where the back entrance was. This entrance was clearly marked 15-minute parking for loading only, and lots of other no parking signs. The day of the move, we back the box truck down this drive and at the end find a late model Camry parked, blocking access to the doors. Okay. We brought all the stuff down from the apartment and staged it just inside the back doors in the building in hopes that the person would move. This took us a solid 2 hours as he had a lot of stuff. Well, we emptied the apartment and had loaded nothing in the truck. The car was still there. That is when one of the group pointed out we had 8 men, all 6 feet plus in height and all reasonably fit. We all played softball together. We proceed to turn the 16-foot car sideways in the 18th drive and placed it against the end brick wall. So about 1 foot in front and 1 in back and no room on the driver's side. That gave us enough room to back the truck and load it up. 30 minutes later we were loaded and drove away. About 2 hours later, my friend returned to do some final walkthrough and vacuuming before turning in his keys. The car was still there, sideways, and a confused Asian gentleman that was maybe 5 feet 4 inches and 120 pounds was standing there talking on his phone with an unhappy wife next to him. I am sure he eventually got the car out, but it required a brute force solution and I doubt he had enough friends to apply enough brute force in the constrained space. Maybe you should read the signs and not park for multiple hours where you are not permitted to park.